I have been practicing interior design for over 16 years. I have my bachelor's degree from Ohio State University in interior design, and I graduated from there in 2008. I've been doing design. I started my first job in design in 2004 in Ohio. Like when I was little, my parents would let me kind of do their own, do their living room. They'd be like, we're gonna remodel our living room and dining room. And my parents actually let me go to the design firm, which is where I actually worked for 4 years while I was in college. And I got to pick out, at the time, wallpaper borders were popular. So they let me pick out the wallpaper border, and they let me do the faux finish, which was popular at the time. We did like a feather duster, and I dipped it in paint and put it on the walls above the wallpaper border. And so my parents really had a lot to do with letting me, they just gave me freedom to do it in their house, which I was probably in 8th grade, which is crazy when I think about the fact that my parents let me do that. So yeah, my parents just understood that I liked doing it and gave me that freedom to try it out. And ever since then, I just kind of been going through magazines. Now Pinterest is popular, but it used to be Better Homes and Garden magazines. My mom let me subscribe to that magazine, and I'd tear out papers and put it in a manila folder, and I'd study them at night. Things that I do for Beke Design is I help people with new homes and I help people with their old homes. We do a lot of remodeling. I have 3D renderings that I do on the computer, so you can actually take the floor plan, I'll put it on my computer program, and I'll build up the kitchen cabinet so you can see how your new kitchen will look. I live in a 1960s home. It's a very small, like 1,300 square foot home, and so it's been a challenge for us to make the most of our tiny space here. In this kitchen, we actually remodeled it, and I took the cabinets. There used to be a soffit all the way around the kitchen, and we decided to knock that out, and we took the cabinets all the way to the ceiling. So that really helped emphasize how big the ceilings are to make the space seem larger, even though it's quite small. And we decided to mix white cabinets with gray cabinets, and then on this side of the kitchen, we did all gray. I chose to do 2-color cabinets because I like the way it looks to have more of like an eclectic feel in a house. To me, it gives a lot more personality than just real sterile, new white cabinets everywhere. When I worked for a home builder in Fort Wayne, one of the custom kitchens I did, we built a custom hutch inside of the cabinets, which was a really neat feel. And that's kind of what I wanted to do here with all the gray cabinets. When it comes to picking a backsplash, something I have found is really important is, you can see on mine, there's a lot of pattern and detail to it, but the colors are muted. I know there was a popular time when everyone did like real bold colors, like mixed of glass, but that tends to pull your eye just to the backsplash and takes away from the beauty of your cabinets. One thing I've learned in doing kitchen design is something that's easy to overlook is your cabinet handles and knobs. When I worked at the home builder, it was kind of, we just kind of were selecting standard ones. But I found in my own kitchen, the most important thing to do is pick hardware that you love, because it is what you're touching every single day. So be sure that you're spending a little extra on your hardware. Get some that feel real solid to the touch, and you're going to be happy. Over here on my cabinets, these big drawers, I went with, these are actually called appliance pulls. But because you can see my drawers are really wide here, I did not want this puny little knob or handle. So I went with these extra oversized pulls, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So you can change out your hardware. Like if you don't want to change your kitchen cabinets because you love them or it's too expensive to do, you can get online, you can go to big box stores, and you can pick out new hardware. The only thing you have to be sure of is that your holes will match up. So like say I have handles here, you'd either have to get a back plate that goes behind your new handle to cover both of these holes, or you're gonna have to get a handle the same size. So I live here in Kendallville, and I've been here for 12 years, and I was working in Fort Wayne primarily, so I really was kind of a stranger to Kendallville until this past year when I started my own business here. And I noticed that on Facebook that the library was advertising they had spring artwork. And I thought, what a cool idea. And so I reached out to Leah at the library and she said, yeah, you come on out and see what we have. And I went down in the basement and this huge variety of artwork. It was all categorized into metals and seasons and kind of old-fashioned artwork, and it was just really nice. So what I wanted to do was brag on the library a little bit, because if you're like me, you like to decorate for the different seasons, and that comes with two problems. Expense. It's very expensive to buy seasonal artwork that you're only going to have out in your home for like 2 months, but also storage. You have to store everything that you buy. So what I did here is, you'll see in my house all of the artwork that you see, and this pumpkin and this painting here, they're all from the library. So another thing at the library is you can rent the artwork and do seasonal decorating at your home with what they have to offer, but you can also rent awesome things for entertaining, like this buffet server. And it's so nice because we all need them at Thanksgiving, but we don't really want to buy them and we don't want to store them. So when I found out that you can rent things like this at the library, I was thrilled. My friend Stacy Klein owns a small business here in Kendallville. It's called Mrs. Stacy Cakes. This is a silicone cake mold, which I rented from the library, and I thought it went really well with my fall decorating. It's a Harry Potter Gryffindor shield. And she whipped this up for me last night, and you can see how cool this is. She kind of glazed over it with a chocolate ganache, and then she did gold leaf on top of this. Okay, so when you are decorating a small space, it's important to take in certain design aspects. Like, if you pick everything small and held back, it makes your room actually feel smaller. So going back to my kitchen, elevating those cabinets going all the way to the ceiling makes the space feel grander. I put in this barn door and I made it extra large, and I made it a dark color, which again, that makes it seem like a grander space to have that in there. Following direction of lines is also important. So I decided to install this shiplap on this wall because, again, small space, but having these lines extend horizontally really makes the space seem longer. So when I bought this house, this wall was just a plain wall. She had an outlet plug on it here actually, which was really random. It sat about right here. And so we decided to cover it up with shiplap, and all I did was I went to Weibel's north of town and I bought 1x6 boards, and we just started laying them from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. And when you do this at home, I put a spacer here in between so that I was sure that I had uniform spacing between all of my boards. And another pointer is to paint the wall behind it first, and paint the boards all the way around, top, sides, back, everything. So in my kind of dinette and kitchen design, I thought about having pendant lights over my peninsula here. I decided to not do that and keep the space open, and I chose to go with a 3-light pendant here over my table. So it kind of gives that illusion of pendant lighting, but yet it's over my table instead, which elongated the space. I actually installed this myself with my husband, and to do, you just need to make sure that you know how to turn the main power on and off to do that. When it comes to picking my accessories, I spend a lot of time on the internet. I do a lot of Amazon actually, and everything on this table besides the books that I borrowed from the library is from Amazon. These old glasses, this is from an antique store, but everything else is Amazon, believe it or not. Stuff on the wall you can kind of mark off with tape. Sometimes I'll do like newspapers. Even when it comes to like area rugs, something we used to do at the design firm was we would take newspapers and we'd lay them all out on the floor, and we'd do it to the exact dimension of the rug that we were looking for, and that really helped us decide if we needed to go larger or smaller. And it was real simple to do, just squish in the newspapers or make them wider. That's really smart. We'll do it on the walls too. So let's say if you're going to do a gallery wall, get craft paper or newspaper cut out from a magazine and just tape the different sizes of the frames that you think you want to use onto the wall, and then you can easily move them around and see what kind of configuration you want them to be in. Wallpaper was definitely very popular back in the 90s, and then it went out. Now it's coming back in, and I've actually considered putting a wallpaper on this wall here, but the wallpaper I would choose to do is a peel and stick. It's a temporary wallpaper. It's kind of a challenge to put up, but it's worth it because you can put it up. If it's not straight, you just peel it back off and lay it back on. And we do that a lot. I've done it in laundry rooms, dining rooms, even like hallways is a nice place for wallpaper. Texture is really important when you're designing a space. So you can see here I have the velvet that is reflected on my seats and on the drapes, and this is something that I pulled out for the cooler season. So it's a very fall look to have the velvet. In summer, I would switch out my drapes to just like a linen, real soft drapery. Reflection is important. You need to always think about having reflection in a room. So I have this mirror up here on the wall, and then having in some glass. I know this is kind of a matte paint on the glass, but glass always helps give you that reflection just like a mirror does as well. And then adding in things like these wooden beads with these tassels, it just gives a lot of dimension to a space. So everything doesn't just fall flat. Something I get asked a lot is it in style to decorate on top of your hutches, or is it in style to decorate on top of your refrigerator? It kind of goes, it depends on the situation, but you can see my refrigerator, my upper cabinet here is only 12 inches deep. Some upper cabinets come out 24, but I felt like there was a lot of space up here and I needed to fill it. So I put these oversized lanterns on it and I filled them with fairy lights for something fun to do. I do have small children. I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I like for the seasons right now for fall, I thought they would really like these bats, and so I stuck these, I got these on Amazon. They just have little sticky pads on the back of them, and I just kind of thought about movement, how the bats might fly off, you know, through the darkness, and put that on the wall there. In my bathroom, which you can see on my design blog, I put a mission panel design detail about 3/4 up the wall, and above that I installed vinyl decals. They're black circles, they're like polka dots, and that was a really fun thing for my kids to enjoy too. So I always think about how the kids might enjoy it. I don't want a real stuffy looking house. I kind of like an eclectic look and kind of play off the kids. That's their space too. Things that I do for Beke Design, I can help people just kind of recreate their space. So if you don't really have the funds to buy all new things, I can come in, and I do this for people quite a bit. I'll come in and just rethink the items that they already have. So I have a lady that actually bought a gift certificate from Beke Design for her daughter for Christmas, and she doesn't have the funds, she doesn't want to buy anything new, but she just needs help. So I'm going in and I'm going to help her redecorate her living room, kitchen, and dining room, and just kind of move the items that she already has around. So sometimes it's hard to see what you have is already good until someone comes in and helps you see them in a new light.